To me, this course can be summed up in the statement that we heard the first day of class, which went like this: a high-level task plus a high level of implementation is equal to high level of student learning. And to me, that's what it's all about. I think this class turned me from a skeptic of big ideas. Uh, Entering this class, I wasn't sure that big ideas were necessary and just thought perhaps they're just another fad in education that will soon pass. But this class has convinced me that big ideas are necessary and very useful and helpful to kind of guide the entire curriculum of mathematics at all grade levels. And the big idea just provides something that teachers can plug into, whether they're in elementary school or middle school or high school or college or beyond. And we can feel like we're all part of the big picture, and our job is to focus on doing our parts in the scheme of the mathematics curriculum as a whole. I think these big ideas will enable us to chip away at improving the mathematics curriculum in this country, getting it from being the mile wide and inch deep to getting less width and deeper curriculum for all students, and that's really what it's all about, and that's what I want to do for my students. During this class, we received a plethora of rich activities and lessons, which I look forward to implementing some of them into my classroom. It was good to approach these activities from a student perspective. It really helped me to see and understand some places where I need to pay more attention to when I'm teaching, because now I understand what the student is thinking, um, such as the value of covariance when learning functions that really hit me. I know in the past I've just kind of skipped over the relationships vertically in a chart and went straight to what do you do to x to get y, what do you do to input to get the output, and now I see how useful going down the change in x and change in y um, is. I touched on that before, but not to the extent that I will now. Since the big idea of pre-algebra is rate of change, I will definitely be spending more time on rate of change and patterns leading up to that, um, requiring students to represent things in multiple ways, which I've done in the past, but will do more intentionally and do more often, because again, as a student, during this class I realized that the more often you do something and the very different ways you do it, the more you do understand, and the quicker and easier it becomes to solve these kind of problems, which happened to me this week. And the other thing I think I'm going to be more intentional about is to develop the mathematical practices, the standards for mathematical practices in my students. Again, looking over that long list that looks overwhelming, I think I've done a decent job of that in my career, but want to be more intentional about certain things, as far as having students justify their answers, and being able to generalize um, things more often. So thank you for your part in developing us as excellent mathematical educators.